Patchwork Heart Ministry and Fiat Ministry Network invite you to discover your mission. A brand new in-depth monthly video series featuring engaging Catholic speakers who will challenge you to live your life abundantly. For only $25 a month, you will receive a personal monthly mission, including 3 full-length inspirational talks that build upon a new theme each month. Sign up for the Discover Your Mission tier at patreon.com/Patchwork Heart Ministry today.
Fiat Ministry Network and Patchwork Heart Ministry present Journeys in Faith. Now, here's DeSantis.
Hi, welcome to Journeys in Faith. This is DeSantis. It's great to be here with you this evening. And I'm very excited about this show because tonight we have Bill Snyder, who is the founder of Patchwork Heart Ministry. And we will also be having Kent Kuholski, who is also the founder of this very network, Fiat Ministry Network, where we are streaming from both YouTube and on Facebook. So good evening. And first I want to welcome my guest, which is a friend of mine, someone I work closely with. So hi, Bill. Great to be here with you.
It's great to be here tonight, Ann. This is a great show and so much fun to be here again. So thanks for having me and getting to be here tonight on the Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus is just an awesome pleasure to be on the air. So good stuff.
That's right. We were just talking about that just a few minutes before the show started, that it is the Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. So we have so much to celebrate with the love of God, because that's what it's all about this month of June. May we remember the love of Jesus Christ, because that's what Fiat Ministry Network is all about. It's saying yes to Jesus Christ. So it's such an honor for me to be, that's right, affiliated with both you, Bill, and Kent, as the three of us have been working so closely together with the 3 ministries that we are all part of. They are separate, but also together too. So that's a blessing. And we're going to talk so much about that this evening, because what it's all about, Bill, which is something you and I talk about frequently, is reaching people who are maybe away from their faith, people who want to be enriched in their faith. And I know that that's what your ministry is all about. So wondered if you could just share, with people who don't know that much about you or about Patchwork Heart Ministry, if you can tell them about it.
Yeah, so sure. I know I was on a couple episodes ago talking about this, but always happy to kind of give you the brief overview again. I'll tell you that the ministry is all about sowing hope into broken hearts, and you can read my story or listen to my story on my podcasts and some of my speaking engagements and things like that. But I'll just tell you that when I was an infant, I had immediate need to have an open heart surgery. I had so the ministry kind of got its name from that. I've had 3 open heart surgeries over the course of my life. And I have a patchwork heart, literally. I mean, there's patches sewn up in my heart, and they're not going to be going anywhere. They're holding it all together to keep me alive today. But the one thing I'll tell you, though, is that because of my unique story, and because of this, triumph over some of my medical issues with my heart, God called me into founding this ministry to help sow hope into broken hearts. And, each and every one of us, we don't all have, physical heart wounds like I do. We have spiritual heart wounds. And so I try to help people recognize that we all have a broken heart in some way. And when we recognize that the only person that can fill that broken heart and patch it up is Jesus, I can't do anything for them. You can't do anything for them. The rest of the world can't do anything for them. The only person that can heal a broken heart is Jesus Christ. And so the tagline to my ministry, Sowing Hope into Broken Hearts, spelled SEW, is to truly just try and give people hope, sow that hope with some thread or whatever into their heart, so that they know that Jesus Christ is God, that He can do anything. And I think, as I said the last time I was on, all I'm trying to do is be a divine physician assistant. That's all and if I can do that, if I can just do that, I think we've made a huge strides toward helping others and helping ourselves get to heaven. So I encourage everybody to reach out and be a divine physician assistant and just point people to Jesus who have broken hearts.
Divine physician assistant. I've never heard that from you before, but I love it, Bill. That is awesome, really, because it's not about us, really isn't. Even though we're here, these three groups here, we have Fiat Ministry Network, Kent Kuholski, yourself, Bill Snyder, Patchwork Heart Ministry, and myself. We'll talk a little bit about that too, the fact that I'm the director for a nonprofit called the St. Raymond Onotis Foundation. And the three of us have kind of done some collaborative efforts, which are really awesome. Because, as I said at the beginning, what it's all about is reaching people who are away from their faith, maybe people who need that boost. I know that your ministry and Kent's has so much to offer in terms of really good Catholic content. And I know we're going to spend a lot of time on this show talking about that. So that's just an awesome introduction. And now Kent is going to be joining us too. I'm not sure exactly when, but during this program, the founder of this very network, Fiat Ministry Network, will be joining us and maybe sharing his faith story too. So now, Bill, you have so much going on, particularly right now with this Patreon Discover Your Mission program that's coming. And I know even this very weekend there's something special. This is Father's Day weekend, and some people are listening to this podcast or this TV show either right now when it's happening or later on. But I know that this Discover Your Mission program is available. It's going to be available pretty much all the time. So no matter when you're listening to this, it is available. So tell us about that and how it started.
Yeah. So, as you all know, many of your parish missions got canceled due to this COVID-19 outbreak, this pandemic that we're in. And because coronavirus wreaked havoc on all the Lenten missions that were going on, plane flights got canceled, parishes got shut down. And I was getting ready to speak. I was about 3 days away from leaving to go to Kansas City to give a 3-night parish mission. And what ended up happening was it got canceled. And I had spent lots of time, like many other Catholic speakers and other people who have spent time preparing a 3-night parish mission to go give at these different parishes around the United States. And so that's when I called Kent up and I said, Kent, how can we get some of these speakers to assist us or present their material to a digital audience? And so when I called Kent up, he's like, well, we could do a conference. We can do this. And so we did the Our Faith, Our Hope, Our Love conference, which is still available on YouTube. You can go back in Kent's archives or my archives and find it on YouTube. And it was a phenomenal YouTube conference that was 7 hours long. So bring your popcorn and, whatnot to watch it. But we then thought about okay, well, we want to go a little bit further than just a conference. And we want to do something monthly. We want to be able to offer something monthly for people who are in a situation where they aren't getting to church regularly. That's still the case. Churches are starting to reopen now, but it's still a very slow process. And, they're only holding like 20% capacity, 25% capacity. So, Kent and I talked about developing a parish mission series called Discover Your Mission. That would be taking the parish mission and personalizing it for each and every viewer that subscribes. So what we did was we created this monthly video series. You're going to be getting 3 videos each and every month that are in depth. So it's like your 3-night parish mission, except it's 3 videos, and we release them on 3 consecutive days. And each month you get a new video. Each month you get a new set of videos. So that is really exciting for subscribers on our Patreon, because every month you're going to get a parish mission or a personal mission delivered to your smartphone, to your computer, and as things reopen too, you can then take them back into your parishes and do the study on your TV with a small group of people. And these are meant for all of that. So we're really excited. Kent and I are really excited about the model. That's first of all, because it's inspirational, not catechetical. Of course, there's always teaching when you inspire people, but people always learn things. But the first the first goal of the series, I should say, is to just inspire people to live great holy lives and say yes to Jesus Christ, to heal some broken wounds, and bring people back to their faith with a little bit of energy. And so each and every month, for the past, we're now on our 3rd month of this, and so I ended up doing the first one, which was Running to the Heart of the Father. Our good friend Kendra Von Esch did the second one on My Road to Mary, and now Ray Haywood, the very first video was released this morning, and the next 2 will be released over the next 2 days, tomorrow and Sunday. And he's doing Finding Simple Answers, which is really for men. And if you want a ton more information about it, you can check out our episode of Sowing Hope that we did last night with Ray, because he gave a really nice in-depth conversation about his ministry with us. But I would really encourage people to sign up and because you're going to get all the missions that were in the past, mine and Kendra's, and Ray's that's going on now. You're going to get all the future missions as long as you stay subscribed in. And then the other thing you get is a full 39-part study of the Catholic Catechism of the Church, which is awesome. The Catechism of the Catholic Church. So that's awesome that you get to even grow and learn more through the audio study. So we're really excited. I know Kent is super excited as well. And we're just really looking forward to hopefully serving people with the gospel. But you've got to sign up. You've got to support our ministry. It's very simple. It's just patreon.com/Patchwork Heart Ministry. And by the way, Fiat Ministry is fully partnered with us in this. So if you're watching this, know that this is split down the middle between Fiat Ministry Network and Patchwork Heart Ministry. I'll just say that for people, even though the handle's only Patchwork Heart Ministry, it's also Fiat Ministry Network. So had we set up our own Patreon to do it, it would have been a little different. But we used ours. But know that you're supporting both ministries when you support us and Discover Your Mission series.
It's very exciting, and I'm happy and excited also for our viewers and our listeners, because we're on podcast too, to see your new promo video, because Bill, you really did a great job. Honestly, you did. I was extremely impressed, because what this new promo video does is it truly does explain to you what Discover Your Mission is all about. And it's exciting. It doesn't really matter how old you are, whether you're a younger person like my daughter's age, college age, or millennials, or Gen X, baby boomers, however old you are, it doesn't really matter, because this mission really and truly is for everybody to grow in their faith. So I
Amen.
just encourage everybody to please check that out. And also, in addition to what Bill mentioned, there's also another segment that's available on this called 5 Minutes of Faith. It's an extension of this very program here, Journeys in Faith. It's 5 minutes with all of the different guests that I've had on this show. And for those of you who are listening on a podcast, Journeys in Faith with DeSantis is on every single Friday night live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can watch it right here on Fiat Ministry Network, as well as on Patchwork Heart Ministry Radio. So if you
Right.
go there, you will find Journeys in Faith. And I'm just very happy and excited also that I've had some really awesome guests, and I have some good guests coming up too in the month of July and August. Calendar's already filling up very much with people who are interested in being on the show. So I just invite people also to consider, if you or someone you know is doing really good things, or a person of faith, an author, a speaker, please get in touch with us at my email address is adesantis@patchworkheart.org. I think is it patchworkheartministry.org?
No, just Patchwork
Patchworkheart.org.
Right,
Bill knows better than I do with that. So yeah, we have so much great things going on. And also, I have to just mention that, Bill, I'm very grateful to you because you partnered with the St. Raymond Donatus Foundation, where I'm the director. And for people who are listening or watching, the website there is nonatus.org. And our initial mission has been helping families who are affected by divorce and separation, and families in crisis. So we have some new podcasts that Patchwork Heart Ministry is producing for us, as well as Fiat Ministry Network is actually airing those two on Facebook. So we're so grateful. So also just keep that in mind. If you have friends who have been affected by divorce, or people who are truly in crisis, be sure to get in touch with us. So, because we're really grateful to you and to Kent for partnering with us, Bill.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And, I think, the one largest blessing, I should say, there's many blessings, but that this pandemic has given us is the ability to align three nonprofits with similar missions. And, all of us are relatively small, nonprofits. We're not the large nonprofit companies, but we all have similar missions. And so because of that, I think with that similar mission in mind, we want to just inspire people to live a life of faith and grow in faith. And so the pandemic brought us together for that reason.
Yes.
And here we are. So I'm so blessed to be a part of that. And I'm so excited that we're all partnered together. And I know the Lord's going to do more than just what he's doing right now.
That's right. There's so much more happening now. We're right now in Pennsylvania, where I'm located. We're in what's called the yellow phase. The yellow phase is like somewhere between the pandemic is over and we can do what we want again, and back to kind of that red phase. And I know that you, Bill, out in Wisconsin, are kind of maybe in the same boat, as well as Kent, somewhere between normal and not, back to where we started at square one. So we're also praying for all of you that are watching, because I know that this has been tough for you and your families, especially those who are of faith, have been away from the sacraments of the church. I know I've been very excited to get back to Mass a couple weeks ago. That was just more than a blessing than I can even describe, to be able to go back and receive the Eucharist. So
yeah.
I didn't know if you had any thoughts on that for those people that are watching that are kind of, getting back to normal, whether it be with work, with family life, with faith. I know that you have been offering so many great resources there for those who are kind of, maybe struggling.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's the Feast of the Sacred Heart, I guess I'll talk a little bit about the Eucharist and really what it is. Like, we just had Corpus Christi this past weekend, right? Corpus Christi was this past weekend, which is a celebration of the Eucharist. And we're so grateful for the fact that Christ gives us his body and blood. And so I think that is really the remedy for the sick. I think I was talking earlier on a podcast this week about the fact that what I want to say, that the Holy Spirit, empowers us to use the Eucharist as a remedy for the sick, and not necessarily just a prize for the perfect. That's a quote from Pope Francis. The Eucharist is not a prize for the purpose for the perfect, but it is the remedy for the sick, or it is the medicine for the sick, is what he says. And when we boil down the Eucharist into what that is and how it can help us in times of great struggle, it ends up being the heart of Jesus. The Eucharist is the heart of Jesus. I had the opportunity to travel to Italy. I guess it was in 2010. I believe it was 2010. And it was December 2nd I was there in 2010. And I was privileged to be able to go to the town of Lanciano on December 2nd. And Lanciano is the town where the Roman soldier who pierced the side of Jesus lived. Saint Longinus. That's the person who pierced the side of Jesus with the lance. Thus it is named Lanciano, lance. And in the year 700 AD, there was a priest there who was having severe doubts about the fact that what he was doing, the words he was saying, this is my body, this is my blood, was confecting the Eucharist on the altar. It was actually becoming the body and blood of Jesus, which is what us Catholics believe. And so what ended up happening was he was having these doubts, and so the Lord appeared in a big way. What ended up happening was when he finished the elevation of the Mass, he lifted up the bread and he lifted up the wine. He put the wine back down on the altar after he said the words, "This is my blood," to transform them into the blood of Christ. And he looked into the chalice and he saw what would appear to be human blood in the chalice. And he looked at the paten, and it was no longer a piece what appeared to be bread, but it was actually human heart muscle in the size of the host. Wow. And this miracle exists today in Lanciano, Italy. And it is in a monstrance there. And I had the opportunity to travel and see that. And so when you think about what the Eucharist is, that it is the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And that is why it's the remedy for all the sick, right? It's the remedy for those of us ailing. It's the remedy for our broken hearts. It's the remedy for those who are struggling, those who are out there, those who need to say yes to Jesus Christ. That's what it's for. For the marginalized, the weak. And it's about building up the body of Christ. Now, of course, we're not supposed to receive communion in a state of mortal sin or anything like that. But this is for people who are out there, who are broken, who are trying to reconcile their lives with God, who are trying to bring themselves closer into communion with God. That's what this is for. And so if you're out there struggling, if you're out there kind of all, anxious or whatever, turn to the Eucharist. Turn to confession if you need to go to confession, and then turn to the Eucharist and receive the Eucharist, whether that be in person, if you can get to the Eucharist this weekend for Mass. And if your Masses are closed down, still make that spiritual communion and say, "I desire you, Jesus, to come into my heart in a sacramental way." So just some thoughts. It's a Feast of the Sacred Heart, and it's all about heart today at Patchwork Heart Ministry, I guess. So little story for you.
Oh, that was more than a little story. That was an amazing story that I think some people may not have heard before. So it's good that you brought it to the forefront on this show. Now, I can't believe it, but it's already halfway through. So we are going to be taking a short break. Now, pay attention to these commercials that come on, because they do have to do with Patchwork Heart Ministry and the wonderful work, and also Fiat Ministry Network. So I see that Kent is with us for a second.
I'm here.
We'll be coming back. Yeah. Hi, Kent.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll come back, and I'll do my part, and here we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Patchwork Heart Ministry and Fiat Ministry Network present the Discover Your Mission series.
St. Paul is saying, I am the most frustrated with you right now, God. I cannot be any more frustrated with you. Okay, dude? Like, I am trying to overcome this sin in my life. I am trying to overcome this, and I'm getting nothing. I'm getting zero.
I can't even share with you how I was so wrote in my faith. And I was attending Mass, but I was not present. And I was a good man, I was a good father, I was instilling the sacraments into my family, but I was definitely not intentional. I was stuck wrote in my faith.
But what kind of strength did he have? Jackie did not just have a strength of body or baseball skill. He had a strength inside of his spirit, a courageous meekness that empowered him to play the game.
My husband comes home from work and I tell him what is going on with me, and he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, no, I think this is like some sort of miracle, dude. And he's like, oh, of course, but I'll believe it when I see it. Honey, you've been trying to quit and you've been saying this and saying that. And I'm, his big line to me is, you shouldn't say things because I never follow through on them. And so this was week after week, month after month. He is looking at me like, this is a miracle. There is no way that you, on your own, could have done this.
One example, when you're getting onto an airplane, but you haven't thought about your faith, and you haven't thought about confession. But flying is not something that you do often. So, okay, I guess this whole hell thing possibly could have some truth to it. I don't know if I buy into this whole thing, but I'm going to be intentional at this moment, and I'm going to go to confession, not reconciliation, where penance and confession reconcile you, but to that person who shares in imperfect contrition, it is truly just confession that they're doing because they're not reconciling.
Hi, back again here on Journeys in Faith with DeSantis, with my truly amazing guests and friends, Bill Snyder from Patchwork Heart Ministry and Kent Kuholski from this very network here on Fiat Ministry Network. I must say that those two ads that we watched during the commercial break were truly educational, awesome. So I thank you both because they really spell out what an investment it is to invest in Patreon, Discover Your Mission. I was thinking about it, Bill and Kent, and I think it's almost like when you have on your bookshelf some books that are so treasured that you don't want to get rid of those books because they mean so much to you. I think that these video series are kind of the same thing. I don't know if you would agree with that, but it's, I look at it that way. It's like, it's a treasured gift that you have forever. You know, when you make that purchase of that $25 a month, this is something that you can hold on to and go back to and watch again and again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of in a sense, a Netflix for, evangelizing. I mean, I think, and that's, a great way of looking at it. My personal thing is, with John Curry Sr. with the Catechism series. We have video of the whole series too, but it's on audio right now. But he was someone that really could just show and teach you the catechism and wanted to teach, and that's what I think Bill is trying to do. And I'm hoping to do my part in this series too, is to help, because I fell in love with the faith, with radio. I mean, kind of like how Bill I mean, with audio and all that. And I kind of felt that with doing that, and then also finding out on the internet, this one guy starting to live stream. I mean, it was technology, which I that's what I was doing in the beginning. I was trying to get everything done. So I was doing behind the scenes while you were both talking, and I appreciate the time tonight, Anne. But
oh, sure.
My kind of the way of looking at it is technology is a great way to evangelize. And I watched this guy, and he was going anywhere on the internet with video and talking technology, but it was, okay, I can bring this over to evangelize, because my story, in a nutshell, is kind of a, going back, a cradle Catholic, and thank goodness I was brought up to know that at least in my young adult age of knowing that I needed to be with people that had at least the like-minded, that I knew I was trying to get back into the church. I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and I went actually to and our brothers and sisters in the Protestant side of things. I think they have a lot to offer us as Catholics, vice versa, and so I've went into that kind of going back and forth, talking with friends that are Protestants, and then finally getting back into the church through I call it the Last Supper at Perkins. We had one night a bunch of friends, and we all got together, a big long table at Perkins, and they were going verse after verse after verse, and I was like, wow, this is like, I can't do it, but these people were just verse after verse out of the Bible, just going and going and going. And so I'm like, okay, I got to get into this. And so I came back into the radio and listened to Catholic radio, but then video was kind of, I'm a visual learner. So that was really what caught my attention, was the video, and to be able to put this all together. 8 years ago I started doing this, and it's not like it was bad. I mean, you're talking, it's just the internet, and all the techie stuff that we don't really want to discuss tonight, but there was a way to evangelize, and that's what I saw. Like, there was a way, and everybody had a story. The other big situation in my life was making it a tech retreat. It's a 3 to encounter Christ, a 3-day, a die day, a rise day, and then a go day. And so I didn't want to go. My buddy that actually became a priest for 4 years saying, you got to make tech. I'm like, no, I don't have time. But so I finally made it right around lunchtime. I'm like, this is too much for me. I couldn't take it. And so after the leader of the retreat said, hey, just hang in there. We'll show you everything. You just have to, basically live it and experience and just let the Holy Spirit work in you. And I figured it out after that day. You understand the whole, and those were two of my things that really got me into, okay, I love testimonies, and that's what the Fiat Ministry show is all about. I know Bill has, he does shows too, and I just think a great way of evangelizing is telling stories, telling your story to other people, because there might be one person I might be, in the sense of in that situation, or was in that situation, and that's kind of what I want to do for that show, is to get one soul. We're encouraging all to say yes to Jesus Christ on Fiat, but we're also one soul at a time. A long time ago, that was a big thing for Fiat, was one soul at a time. It might take time to do all this work. It does take time. Bill knows it. I know it. Doing these conferences and all that, it takes extremely a lot of time to do a lot of this, but it's rewarding, where you might get one comment or someone just giving you a little bit of feedback, and that's rewarding in the sense of I want to continue doing it, and to working with you both is just amazing, because it's just making, I didn't think I was going to be in this situation a couple months ago. And like Bill was saying, a lot of things happen with this situation that we were all kind of brought into, but now these friendships and networks and everybody that we're working with kind of has expanded my horizons of doing the network. But technology and evangelization caught my attention. I love the technology side. I'll have to admit, I'm a junkie with the technology side. I want to be latest, greatest.
You
what
two
can
both
I do?
are.
I want to know what I can do to get out there and do something, but then also to evangelize. So that's kind of my little stuff. But yeah, I appreciate both of your time, and always just your friendships. So thank you for having me on the show.
I think I can speak for both of us that we appreciate you too. I know Bill and I've had that conversation many times, that it's just such a blessing. And, this is all Holy Spirit driven. For people who are watching the show or listening on the podcast, is that the bringing together of Patchwork Heart Ministry, Fiat Ministry Network, and even myself with the St. Raymond Onatus Foundation and our podcast, that we're so grateful to be working with you. And this show, this show to me is a real blessing to bring the wonderful things that people are doing to make the world a better place in the faith world. People who are authors, speakers, just doing wonderful things to help others and to educate those about the faith. But it's inspirational too. Yeah. It's not just catechetical. And I think that's something that the three of us believe in very much so, is that, yes, it is catechetical, it is true to the faith, but it's also about human beings and about truly, being a good person and loving people, because, God is love. And as you said, Kent, that one person who might be watching or listening a show and says, I got something from that. I'm growing in faith. That means something.
Well,
yeah, it really does. It means a lot to God.
Oh yeah, and I just want to give a shout out to two souls that I care about, especially with Father's the weekend coming up, and
Yes.
and my daughters were, and that kind of was the reason. I apologize everybody for the delay tonight on the show, but they were
Okay.
they wanted to do all this stuff, and how do you behind the scenes, and they're really interested in this. What's Daddy doing? And I just want to shout out to them because they're watching and doing everything behind the scenes right now, helping out just to promote the show. So those souls and everybody else out there that is watching and live or on their own time, thank you for just spending, and hopefully something will come out of this. And I know the Patreon is a very important. I mean, yeah, if we could, if someone can go to that 25, and it's so much that we're going to be providing over the months, and that's a collection. It's a library. I mean, everything that you both have been mentioning. So I really appreciate that too. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's wonderful stuff. And I think, that if there's one thing that has to be said, it's that, if you want to grow in faith, you have to invest in it. You have to invest the time to grow in faith. And, look, we all can sit here and say, yes, the Catholic Church is the largest organization on the planet, and it is one of the most blessed organizations on the planet. It feeds, it clothes, it heals more people on the earth than any other organization. And when you realize that, and then you realize that the Holy Spirit can work in your heart personally to be a part of that, you want to invest in that relationship. You want to invest in that time, and so with that being said, taking an investment, it doesn't even necessarily have to be with the Discover Your Mission series. Would Kent and Ann and I love it if it was with the Discover Your Mission series and you invested in us to provide you with that content. This is not about Kent. It's not about Bill. It's not about Ann. It's not about each and every one of us. It's about Jesus Christ and pointing each and every one of you toward him in a deeper way. And so you've got to invest, though. You have to invest the time to learn your faith. If you just think that it's going to, hit you via osmosis or some other way, no, you're building a relationship with a person. And I don't know what other person you can think of to build a relationship with where you don't do anything with, like if I said to my wife,
Right.
I'm not going to see you for forever, well, we don't have a relationship. We have to have we have to spend the time to build that relationship. So Discover Your Mission is literally that. It helps you discover what your mission is to help Jesus be his hands and feet in the world. There's a variety of different speakers, a variety of different topics. As we said, this month is Ray Haywood with the Father's Day type mission. That's the reason why it's being released. Next month, we're very excited about having William Hemsworth on, who's just a phenomenal evangelist. Is going to do something all in the Eucharist. So really, there are so many different opportunities for you to grow in your faith, but you have to invest in it. And it does mean investing your time. Occasionally, it means investing your money. And not necessarily to grow in faith, but to support the organizations that do help you grow in your faith, like the St. Raymond Nonatus Foundation, like Patchwork Ministry, like Fiat Ministry Network. And there's a billion other Catholic organizations out there. If you are supporting one, thank you, especially during this time. Thank you for supporting whatever Catholic ministry you're supporting. But if this series, if what we're talking about tonight is tugging at your heart, really pray to see if that is an investment you want to make. The investments, we think, for what you're getting, is very reasonable. $25 a month boils down to $300 a year. And if that's something that you are doing, or you're able to do, even if it's for a half a year, and learn some stuff, or whatever, just think about making that investment. If this is tugging at your heart tonight, pray about it. Pray about it. God, these videos are very high quality. Kent and I put a lot of time into making this stuff look really good. This is broadcast quality stuff. These videos are high quality video. It's not, just, hanging out with a webcam or hanging out in your car filming, a karaoke car session like James Corden does. Like, we're not into that, right? This is high quality video production with, bumpers and music. And we're really excited about what we're able to provide. And so with that being said, that's time, that's talent, that's equipment, that's subscriptions to make these things go. If you're going to produce something high quality that's going to catch the eye, you're going to need equipment to make it work. And both Kent and I have made that investment because we believe that what we're doing is going to deepen your faith. And we believe it so strongly that we just get out of the boat. How many months ago, Kent, we got out of the boat and we said, we're going to do it. We're going to jump all in and catch us, Jesus, if we start to sink. And so that's where we are. Kent and I are out here on the waves, just trying to navigate it and say, we want to provide this ministry to you. It's all for you. It's not for anybody else, but we all have to be invested in it, and know that our investment that we're making from our time and our talent and our treasure has to pass along to those who are also supporting it and watching it and consuming it. So I'm so blessed to be a part of this ministry. I thank the Holy Spirit every day that I get to wake up and do this, because I truly feel like now this is what God has called me to do. And I know Kent kind of feels the same way. Like, this is what we're called to do. This is what Jesus wants us doing. So we know he'll provide, and we know he'll provide you with some amazing content through our hands if we're faithful and prayerful about it.
I can't say enough good about it. I mean, I've seen some of it, and I'll tell you, for those watching and listening, when they say high quality, they mean it. And I'm one of those people that I'm not an exaggerator. I think Bill and Kent, you know that. I'm pretty, I call it like it is. I mean, those videos are, as you use the word, Catholic Netflix. I mean, I think that's a pretty good description. You're talking about something that is a keeper. We'll say a keeper. Also, for those of you who are interested in your Catholic faith and really learning and retaining, some of you might be considering getting some kind of degree in theology or taking classes. What you're going to learn here, and when you compare the price of what you would pay to get that degree, or all the money that you would pay for those classes that you may take for that theology degree, this is just something that will enrich all of it. Even if you do decide to get your degree, it's something that you would probably want to do right alongside it. So I'm just telling you right from my heart that, I'm just loving it. And I think it's an excellent, excellent program, and just so proud and blessed to be part of all of this.
Yeah, it really is. And I'll just quickly say, for pastors, for pastors, for parish priests that are out there that want to look at this stuff, and, and anybody out there watching, your parish priest, consider contacting us and looking at it as a way to enliven your parishioners on the way coming back. We can do an enterprise licensing of this for you. Pricing might be a little bit different, but we can do an enterprise licensing of this for you, so that you are able to get access for your parishioners, for your church. Right now, we're not having large groups of people go to church, but we can get back in small groups. The vision that I keep praying about and thinking about is, man, taking your phone, watching these videos on your own time, and then getting together with your friends at a local coffee shop and having a discussion about your faith. Hey, did you watch it on Monday? Yeah, I watched it on Monday. I watched it on Tuesday. But on Wednesday, we're all together and we're all having this conversation about whatever this is. And again, it's not like we're throwing a catechism at you. We're not throwing a Bible at you. This is inspirational first. Are you going to learn a few things? Absolutely. But what separates it off of like Formed or Word on Fire is that it is truly inspirational first, catechetical second. So we're not out there again trying to get you into some other big parish program either. I don't think that's, this is not some alpha. It's not some program we all have to go to and watch on a big screen with a bunch of people. No. You can watch us personally on your phone, on your computer, even on your smart TV. You can watch this stuff on your smart TV. I do. I watch it on my smart TV when I'm done producing it to make sure it looks good for smart TV. So, feel free to reach out to us too, and think about enterprise licensing or however that might work out for you if you're a parish priest or clergy member or a bishop or a diocesan director. We can make that work with you. We can work with you.
When you said inspirational and heart too, because isn't that what Patchwork Heart and Fiat Ministry Network is all about? Inspirational first, catechetical maybe second, but reaching those hearts that you wish to get to know Jesus, get to know their Catholic faith. Sometimes when you can reach somebody's heart and get them interested, sometimes you do have to start with the inspirational before you get into and delve into the depths of all of the truths of our faith. So I just congratulate you both. Now we are coming toward the end of the program, and I wondered if Kent had any final words or anything else that he wanted to communicate to his own audience here, because we are on Fiat Ministry Network as well as Patchwork Heart Radio.
Kent, you still with us?
I have to mute myself for my kids, but no, I want to say again, thank you. It's been really a fun night to be on. I'm usually hosting or behind the scenes, so as a guest, I really appreciate that, Anne, for inviting me on your show. I think it's all about a way of getting one soul at a time and to touch them in any way, the way that you do it. I think that's how I always approach doing Fiat, and I continue to do that. But now to have, Bill and you and everybody, it's really just has expanded my horizons of how we could really work together. I think that's another thing that I really appreciate both of your time is working together. There's a lot of times you have a little bit of division or, figuring out, okay, what can I do? And it's not about an I, it's about God. It's about our relationship with God, with everybody, in the sense of in their own time, how can they expand a relationship with God? And these ways of going on to Patreon and going into these series and learning about your faith, the catechism, all of these, whatever you want to take out of or learn, going as as a teaching aid, as a parish mission way of learning. I mean, all of these different ways is just an amazing opportunity to do that. And I just thank you for your time, both Bill and Ann. And I just want to wish everybody, all the fathers out there, a happy Father's Day. I just appreciate, being on to be able to wish my, just to thank my kids. Just to be helping out tonight. They're walking around and seeing everything. So behind the scenes, as we're doing a show, it's always fun. They don't have to go to the studio; they just come to the house. So yes, I am not in a church, but
the magic of green screen.
I have to confess that. But to have that. And to be able to do that tonight, and thank you, Bill. Thank you always. And let's just continue to, do this and hopefully share the faith with as many people Because, sowing, sowing hope and sowing heart, everything that you're doing, Bill, is just amazing. And I'm just so like amazed that we were able to get together and to work together, and to come together, and it's just it's God's work. And so thank you for all that. Appreciate
Ken,
Amen.
thank you. And Ken, happy Father's Day to you.
Thank
and
you.
I hope you have a wonderful weekend with your family. I wish all of the dads out there a wonderful and beautiful weekend with your families. And thank you for being great dads and for loving your kids and being good husbands too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and just Ray, I'm gonna. I apologize. Ray mentioned that on your podcast to also wish all the priests, all the fathers, our
We
spiritual
can't forget
fathers,
the priests. Happy Father's
Day
to
for
our
them
priests.
too. But I'm sorry, Ann.
And
I'll
religious.
get out of the way.
No, I'm so glad that you said that. No, we need to remember our spiritual father. So if you're a priest or a religious out there watching, happy Father's Day. So again, I'm just going to give you those websites again for our listeners and viewers for the two ministries here. And actually, I'll give you my ministry website again. So again, it's patchworkheart.org, and that is Bill Snyder with Patchwork Heart Radio. He's got several podcasts. One is Young Catholics Respond. The other one is Sowing Hope. That's with myself as the co-host. And as we said, all of the wonderful videos that are coming up through Discover Your Mission on patreon.com/patchworkheartministry. In addition, Fiat Ministry Network, please like this page on Facebook. And it's also at fiatministrynetwork.tv, I believe, Kent, isn't it? So, and also one more thing I have to mention is that you will be able to watch a video with the three of us called 5 Minutes of Faith. And it will be Bill and Kent and I. We will talk about a few tips to enhance your prayer life. So be sure to check out that website and you'll be able to watch that video too. Thank you everyone for joining us on Journeys in Faith. We'll see you next Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Journeys of Faith is a production of Fiat Ministry Network and Patchwork Heart Ministry. For more information about Journeys of Faith, email info@fiatministrynetwork.tv. And be sure to friend, follow, and like us on social media. Just search Journeys in Faith with Ann DeSantis.